Hey everyone, welcome to this fabulous episode of Electronic Cafe. Mark and I have had the great fortune to meet our dear friend, and he really is, because he's been one of our greatest supporters, Mr. Rusty Egan, talking about his new album, his new book, and obviously, you know, his style being sort of risen fully at the Blitz exhibition at Design Museum. Mate, it's really nice to see him getting, well, all the hard work coming to fruition for him from an album perspective, but people recognising what he's contributed to club culture, music and everything, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Rusty's never really stopped. I mean, he's always joined the dots on the everything, bands, music. You know, he's been like an influencer for decades. We're at a moment in time where the Design Museum Blitz thing is getting the recognition it deserves. You know, everyone's looking back on Visage and stuff. He's got a new album coming out, which is amazing album that he's got out. And you know, how awkward would it be for us to speak to Rusty if his album wasn't that good? But it's kind of like it's really good. It's so easy to talk about it because it's really good. And on top of that, something that we've been mentioning to him for years about he should write a book. He's got a book coming out. You know, Rusty always comes from a good place, and I'm really dead proud for him and what he's achieving right now.
Yeah, 100%, and yeah, and he's, you know, it's amazing. His passion, his flame is still burning bright, isn't it? When he talks about bands, music, he can see it still ignites him, which is just brilliant. And I'm really honoured to call him our friend, like me and you. He's just been phenomenally supportive of us. So
I mean, his passion is amazing. I mean, he's still saying, who are you listening to, what's new, and you know, and the guy never goes to bed before 2 o'clock in the morning. And then it's amazing. His energy is just off the charts.
Yeah, he's incredible. So shall we show everyone what the chat was all about and how good it was?
Indeed. I mean, jump in and look at our latest chat with Rusty Egan, talking about the new album Romantic and the forthcoming book, and obviously with a lot of other stuff as well.
Anyway, do you want to start?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to get off?
Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Burning Spear, Yellow Man, Smiley Culture, Dennis Bavell, Linton Kwesi Johnson, Sister, Ignations, Angel sent to save us, mixing up the flavors. Sister Mary Davis.
Hey everyone, welcome to this awesome Electronic Cafe episode. Today we are joined by one of our best friends of the Electronic Cafe, who's with us from the beginning, absolute legend, and we're absolutely pleased to be talking about his fantastic new album and his book. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back the massively fabulous Mr. Rusty Egan. Rusty, welcome back, mate. It's always...
Hi, Andy. Hi, Mark.
Good to see you.
Always good to have you, mate. And look, I know it's been a long time coming, but we've seen the release of Romantic, right? You must be relieved that it's out there for people's ears to be happy.
Yes, I am relieved because it was 18 tracks if you include Fade to Grey by Zaine and Ronny. And I have to thank Colin, my distributor, for staying with me and handling about 200 emails that he really didn't want. I know I talk a lot, but I email a lot as well. And also David Japp has really helped me with all the jargon that goes with it, which I wish I had in 1980.
Yeah, of course. For what it's worth, I mean, you were kind enough to send me and Mark an advance copy for us to do a review. It is fabulous. And for people watching this, if you haven't got it yet, grab it. It is fabulous.
Thank you. Well, as you know, I'm not the lead singer. I'm not the midure of the act. So I have to collaborate. Now, this new album, Claudia Brücken, Zeus Beheld, Rusty Egan, Oscar Egan, 25% each. Peter Hook, 25% each. everything 50-50, me and Chris Payne.
Probably.
Always. I've always thought 50-50. Now, 45 years later, we're releasing Fade to Grey. There is no Billy Currie. There is no Midure. It's just me and Chris Payne.
Yeah.
And Ronny and Oscar, my son, who produced everything. So you hear it and you say, oh, that's the sound of Visage. I've had 45 years of, no, that's Midure and Billy Currie. And I'm going, Visage was not Midure and Billy Currie. Visage was Midure and Rusty Egan.
Yeah.
And then we had Billy Currie, Dave Formula, Steve, you know. So this album now, when you hear Peter Hook and you hear Andy Huntley and you hear, you kind of go, oh, even Mylène Farmer was not Chris Payne originally. It was me. And then Chris Payne lives in France.
Yeah.
And he said, Rusty, she's a superstar in France. Please, I want to work on it. And I was like, oh, all right. And then he did all his beautiful pianos and violins, you know. And then people actually said, it sounds like Visage, you know. So what I'm trying to say in the nicest possible way without being horrible to my good mate Midge, I think Midure and Rusty Egan should have stuck together.
Yeah.
And instead of Rusty going, here, Midge, why don't you join Ultravox? And I'll go off and be a DJ in a nightclub.
Yeah.
I should have joined Ultravox like Lowell in The Cure. Do you remember Lowell?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he was the drummer, right?
Yeah.
But he moved on to keyboards. I should have done that. I should have stuck. You know what I mean?
I think it's Rusty. I mean, I know there's the legality that goes with it, but I think the perception of the record buying public and like the people that listen to the music, the perception is Visage was Midge, you, Billy, Steve. It was, you know, forget about the way it's been split. The sound of Visage is you guys. So,
but it's the sound of the Blitz, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
One man on a lonely platform, one case sitting by his side, two eyes staring cold and silent, shows fears as he turns to hide.
You were kind enough to get us to the opening night of the Design Museum.
Yeah.
That spotlight firmly shone on you, you know, which was great.
Well, it should have shone on me and Steve.
yeah.
And even up to like last week, I have been trying to be inclusive of Steve and Rusty, just like Visage, Midge and Rusty.
Yeah.
Blitz Club, Steve and Rusty. I'm always trying to be inclusive, except that for the last 15 years or something, I have been described as a disgruntled drummer and an ex-member and things like this. And I've said, well, go on and make another Visage sounding record if you want. There is no Visage because the trademark name, which is 50% mine, has been abused. So what you got behind you there is an album, Rusty Egan, Welcome to the Dance Floor. That could have been Visage.
Yeah.
And what you got behind you is Blitz. That could have been Steve Strange and Rusty Egan Presents. When you say forget about the legalities, I'm just saying that other people have forced or belittled my role to the point of, oh, Visage was all Midure. And you know what I mean? Oh, Rusty had nothing to do with that. He's only a drummer. So in a way, I think my music answers all the questions.
Rusty, I'll tell you what comes across to me, and I think Mark will back me on this, is that this album is much more, I mean, Welcome to the Dance Hall is great, but the richness and depth of this new album in terms of the variety of music really shows your sort of palette is massive. You know, you've got that really great rock track, which I absolutely love. And then sort of nightclub stuff. I mean, I'm guessing that was a purposeful thing to do, but did you see that when you were making the album? Because Mark and I certainly felt it. Like every track was like, fuck, where's he going?
Well, if you look at Blitz and you look at the Blitz Club playlist, which is on Spotify, 300 tracks, you'll find things in there like Hot Chocolate, and you go, what is that? Why is that in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Glitter Band or something like that. And of course, the Glitter Band I covered with Richard Burgess, Angel Face with Shock, and the B-side of that was R.E.R.B. I think my taste is like yours. I can see behind you there, Mark, you got the Clash album there with the Jill Famolsky photograph, the famous Paul Simonon photograph. You got the Spandaus lined up there. Somebody will say, oh, how can you like the Clash and like Spandau? And you go, well, you can. They all have their moments, and you got the Pistols. So it's kind of like I liked punk, and then out of punk, I found Magazine and Ultravox, you know, and I was like, wow, these guys they're taking it somewhere else. Yeah, but they're not really punks, are they? I said, no, but it was the time. It was the time. I went to see Susie and the Banshees, and bloody Dire Straits were on in Dingwalls. I was really upset. I was like, oh, fucking old hippie band, you know.
You make a good point about the music, about, you know, the dichotomy of what everyone likes. I mean, we spoke when the Blitz album came out, you know, we was kind of a little bit shocked about some of the tracks that were played at the Blitz Club. It wasn't all like krautrock, it wasn't all electric. There's some other great tracks on there.
Yeah.
This album, Romantic, going back to Romantic, I mean, I've listened to it quite a bit this last week, and obviously it came out yesterday. Everyone else has got the opportunity to listen to it, and it starts off actually like, you know, electronic, but then there's a little period at the beginning where it's quite soulful. It's like soulful, and then it goes into the, you know, rocky.
Well, I used to play Sade's favourite song, Everybody Wants to Live Together. Why can't we live together? And I always used to play Sly Stone, which is obviously If You Want Me to Stay.
Yeah.
And Midge covered No Regrets, No Tears Goodbye. Yeah. I Don't Want You Back. Right? So I used to just, you know, it's like if I came round your house and we had dinner and then you said, oh, let's go in my record room. And then it's all back to mine and you play me something and I pull out the vinyl sleeve, put it on and like, listen to this. Well, I was a DJ like that. I was a DJ telling people, have you heard this? And obviously those people were John McGeer, Barry Adamson, you know, the musicians that I'd wrapped around me. And then when they saw me play like Permafrost, you know, Magazine, and the way I was into that guitar and the way he played, and then I'd mix that into Sister of Mine, Home Again, Psychedelic Pearce. And then it was like, have you heard this? And they hadn't heard it. A lot of musicians don't fucking listen to anything.
And you asked me,
when we've interviewed you like face to face and that, we've often said that you were an influencer before influencers as a phrase even existed. I mean, you joined the dots in the scene. Exactly what you said. You say to people, if you like this, have you heard this? What about this? And you played this whole lot of stuff. For the benefit of the people that haven't heard it yet or are about to discover it, just run through some of the names that are on Romantic, because it's a brilliant lineup of people you've got.
If you've got the album in front of you, because I don't, the opening track, I went to David Brooks' studio to discuss collaborating with him. And he was in the middle of recording his own album. It was sort of COVID time. And his own album was a bit rocky, you know, guitars and drums and bit rocky. And then I heard Beautiful Day, and it was rocky. And I was like, that's a good song there, David. Would sound a lot better with synths, you know what I mean? And he said, would you want to have a go at it? And I said, yeah, sure. So before he'd even released his own album, I was working on that track with David's own synths. That was the important bit. I was like, get rid of all those guitars, get rid of all those drums, get rid of, you know, and then let's make it angelic. Let's make it, it's a beautiful day, like connect to your higher power. So I imagine sitting in a church and the sun coming through the stained glass window, and then a beautiful female voice talks to me, you know? If you listen to the lyrics, it's about somebody having their own personal turmoil, because it might be a beautiful day outside, but inside it's raining and I'm really not having a good day. Yeah. And you don't know that. And when I go on the train and I look at people, I kind of say, I wonder what his problems are. I wonder if he's happily married. I wonder if he dresses up on the weekend in stockings and suspenders and goes to Torture Garden.
I've got the album in front of me for the benefit of everybody else. I mean, at the moment, very quickly, at the moment, it's only on streaming platforms, but there is talk about it being physical in there in the future.
Well, it's 105 minutes. So we're looking at how to either sort of fading out some track, you know what I mean? So I don't know what to do to squeeze it on, you know.
Let's go through it. You got Paula Gilmer, fantastic. Erik Stein, Rubi Taylor.
Wait a minute. Track 2, Erik Stein, has Gary Barnacle on sax.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really important because I got 3 sax players.
Yeah, you said, and Ruby's voice, Mark. I mean,
yeah, Ruby's got her own record out, and I just asked her to do the vocal as a demo, and then I'll get someone, and then obviously I listened back and said, "Wow, yeah, it works." Go on, Mark.
So yeah, just going.
Track 2, Andy Mackay from Roxy Music's on sax.
Well, you better have a word with Spotify because they're not listed on here on Spotify.
No, this is the weird thing. I've got this whole thing about credits, and it's called metadata.
Yeah.
And I've supplied all that, everything.
I'm just winding you up, Rusty. I'm just winding you up.
All right.
I'm just going through the list, and also you've got Zeus Beheld, Claudia Brücken, Zaine Griff, Wolfgang Flur, Jonny Foster.
Zeus Beheld had never met Claudia Brücken, and I never knew that. I contacted Zeus because I had this music. So basically, I got this track, and I was thinking no GDM because that's what he made. And as you know, when we were young, is very similar to no GDM. So when I contacted him, he said, yeah, your song, I loved it, you know, but very like no GDM. I was flattered. And I said, mate, that track, as you know, I bought it in Düsseldorf. And he's like, yeah, you're the reason it was a success because nobody liked it in Germany, you know. Anyway, so he was very nice to me. And then I said, look, I've got this idea for a song. And he goes, send me. And then I contacted Claudia and I said, hey, I'd love to work with you on something. And I've got something with Zeus Beheld. And of course, she then says, oh my God, I've always wanted to work with Zeus Beheld. So bottom line was I put them together. She jumped on a plane. She went over there. And Claudia wrote the lyrics. And I was like a little sort of, what? And then I thought, she was in Dusseldorf reading all about the Blitz and wishing that she could bring her band over to England. And it was real. And that's what I like about it. It's just real. And the way she talks and names everyone, it was like, I think the Pet Shop Boys have done a track called Pop Kids. Have you heard? Yeah, Pop Kids. And it's like just a little story of we were watching Top of the Pops and then we were on it.
Vandal Moon, that's a great track. I really like that one.
But he, Vandal Moon, I've been supporting for a long time. I love him. And originally, he said, I'll just help write it, but don't credit me. Because he just wanted to be a writer. I said, yeah, all right. And so then I thought, well, I better get Nadege. And Nadege is in another band as well called We Are Replica. She's French, and I met her in Youth Studio in Spain. And you know me, I love a French vocal of somebody talking to me.
I never guessed, mate.
Yeah, I love it. So I said, look, I'd love to have you talking on one of my records, you know. And she said, but I do sing. Huh? Okay, well, maybe we can sing. So they ended up me sending it to Vandal Moon and him saying, bloody hell, I love it. Yeah, but put my name back on it. So go on, keep going.
Okay, so Andy Huntley does a couple of tracks. You got Peter Hook on the album.
Love Hook.
Can I talk about Andy Huntley?
Yep, go for it.
So Andy Huntley, I met him on the top of a mountain in Ibiza. And he was a young, good-looking kid who could sing and play guitar. And I thought, we've met in Ibiza. It's meant to be. Yeah. You can sing. You can play guitar, you're a good-looking lad. That's what I need. And he goes, I come from Wales, the same village as Steve Strange. I said, I don't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
She covers pain in mascara. She only comes out in the night. She slowly feasts on your terror. She only dances when you cry, sweet summer nights. Red lights.
Yeah, we all know about Steve. He had a bit
you got Peter Hook, you got Tony Hadley.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. So Andy Huntley, as you know, appeared at all of my audience with, and he sings Dreamer. Yeah. So, okay. So he made a record in Wales with a Welsh choir, which he wrote for his dad, who was taken with cancer. No, Alzheimer's. Right. Alzheimer's. So, sorry, I can't get it wrong, can I? Cancer, Alzheimer's, both killers. But anyway, the bottom line was it really knocked him for six. He called me up and said, I've kind of got a bit of a song together. Listen to Your Heartbeat. And it wasn't called that at the time. So the bottom line was, I've got to get Andy on the album. We got to work on this song. I also say, Listen to Your Heartbeat on Best Friend. And as you know, for track one, I said, you're in a church and you connect. Track two, Listen to Your Heartbeat, you connect. Romantique, I do some talking. basically saying, stop looking for love because love will find you. There's a message in every track, and there's a reason for every track. So Heartbeat starts with a heartbeat. Yeah. Anyway, Andy has had maybe 2 or 3 absolutely stunning girlfriends because he's a young lad. He goes, yeah, this one, her name is Tony, right? Which is a bit odd, isn't it? Her name is Tony Hadley. He goes, yeah, she's Tony Hadley's daughter. And basically, he made Tony Hadley a granddad.
Sweet.
This year. Yeah, and I knew before anyone, and even though Rusty Egan talks a lot, I never say anything private, you know. So I had the photos and everything before. Nice. Anyway, so it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful song. And he appears a few more times, but we'll go on to that. What's the next song?
We can do better, but change is forever. But when will we be free? So better or never, you know that it's out of my reach. 'Cause I can't ever see you that way. Oh, it could be over in a heartbeat. And I can't ever see you that way. Yeah.
You got Peter Hook. He was on Welcome to the Dance Floor. Brilliant name too.
Yeah, The Other Side, which started in Ibiza with my mate Rick.
You got the other granddad Tony Hadley on there.
Well, the Granddad Tony Hadley song was the hardest one, and Josh Phillips is a amazing keyboard player, orchestrator, and he was in Midge's band in the sort of 90s. That's when I met him. And he's currently in Procol Harum. He has a phenomenal studio. He rebuilt the studio. And what happened was I met him at Midge's Royal Albert Hall. And he said, oh, I'm working with Tony Hadley. I said, oh, I'd like to hear that. And he sent me this demo, and I saw it completely differently to him. So Josh is thinking one way, I'm thinking the other. And I was trying to explain to Josh, I was saying, Josh, you know, there's like 20 different mixes of people's songs these days. I hate 19 of them, but I love one of them. Let me do what I do. And he's like, well, no, it needs to be this, it needs to be that. I said, no, you do what you do. Do your own, but you could do a lounge version. You could do a bloody jazz version. I don't care. Just let me do what I do. And that was tugging and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So about 30, 40 years ago, this guy turned up at Trident Studios, and he had a fur coat, and he had 2 dogs to match, like these massive dogs. And his name's Gary Stevenson. And he's got a personality like mine, like louder than anyone in the room. And he was an artist, producer. Anyway, the bottom line is he made the last ABC album, The Look of Love.
Part 2, was it? It was the
part 2, that was it. And I loved it. I loved it. I called him up. Anyway, so he called me up and he said, hey, I've got this track with Josh and Tony. I said, it's fucking brilliant. And he was going, well, let me get involved. So the end result is it's like 4 of us, you know, all like tugging at. And then Gary brought in, he plays the guitar, he brought in the vocal. I mean, he mixed it. So it's a Stevenson mix, Gary Stevenson, Rusty Egan mix. But I didn't write it. I rearranged it, changed it, added this, you know how it is. So with Lonely Highway, Tony Hadley is a 10% writer. And with this song, Stranded, I'm a 10% writer. And it's because we put in the last 10%, you know, which is what he did on Lonely Highway. So it really worked out well. And it was meant to be the closing track, which is why I added that nice end. So it kind of ends, and then we have a bonus fade to grey.
In the cool of the night, you
Right, here we go. Some more big hitters coming up. Boy George and Ronny.
Well, Ronny, I contacted because I was trying to release her entire catalogue. And again, more legal data, metadata. It was just a headache. I said, do I need this? There's nothing in it. I won't get paid. I didn't write anything. So I remade for Blitz, the soundtrack to the TV show, Blue Cabaret. I remade that, and I got Dim Zach, who I love, to do If You Want Me to Stay. And I thought, well, I'm done. I'm done. I don't have anything else to do now. So I said, I'm going to put a vocal on my Fade to Grey, because I did that for Blitz as well. And she said, I always wanted to sing that song. I said, I always wanted you to sing that song. So basically, she has a son just like mine. So our sons got together, and basically the parts came over, and she did phenomenal vocal, did all the French parts. So as far as I'm concerned, that is a unique original record. But I'd been writing with Zaine, and Zaine had been writing with Chris. So I was like, well, I'm on, I don't know if you know it, but I'm in the video for Ashes and Diamonds, right? And I used to hang around with Zaine, Warren Cann. They were very close, you know, and the keyboard player who went on to the greatest fame ever.
Hans Zimmer.
We used to go to his studio. So we were all mates. We all knew each other, and we were mates. And I was like, and I was really horrible to Zaine, because he still has a New Zealand twang in his voice. And I don't know if you know, but if you listen to like Richard Jobson singing, you can't tell he's Scottish, can you? I can't really tell. And if someone's from up north, like Arctic Monkeys, yeah, they sound like that. Yeah, sound like that. You get what I mean? So I was like, I can't have Visage coming from New Zealand. You get what I mean? I can't.
I understand.
And it went down like a lead balloon. So Chris and Zaine made their own album in the end. You know, I was like, well, you know, you met Chris Payne, you know.
This is lovely.
But would you like to sing Fade to Grey? He said, yeah, of course I would. And he did it perfectly, and he doesn't sound like a sheep. What do you call him? A bloke who cut sheep? Yeah, whatever. So it worked. When it works, it works.
One man on a lonely platform, one case sitting by his side, two eyes staring cold and silent, shows fear as he turns to hide. We fade to grey.
Rusty, going back to the scripts a little bit. I mean, the album is phenomenal.
Thank you.
We posted it on the Electronic Cafe platforms. We've had lots of positive results and lots of positive comments. I guess you have as well, because it's been well received. The style of the album, it's got soul on it, it's got some dub on it, it's got some electronic on it. There's a real mix on there, and you've got like a lot of quality names, you know, on the album as well. In the Rusty Egan Little Black Book, is there someone that you would still like to work with?
Everyone that is on my album or works with me, I've either met or have worked with in the past, and or met through someone I work with. I have had strangers, so to speak, as in I go to music networking nights, and I'm open to working with people that have got a talent but aren't very well known, like Erik Stein, who I think with Jono, absolutely beautiful albums they deliver constantly. And as you know, you guys champion other people. So Vandal Moon for me was that found that way. Tiny Magnetic Pets found that way. And I think introducing them to Midge and them going on tour with OMD and other people loving new artists making great music. So, and you guys are great at that, championing that, and I take my hat off to you. Because we need that. Where's John Peel? We need.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have no Radio One. I couldn't tell you Zane Lowe is the John Peel. What? I wouldn't know anything. Yeah, but Russ, you're out the loop. Well, not really, because if I like someone, LCD Sound System or I've been waiting on you, that band, they've been around for 20 years. All of these bands have been around for 20 years that I like. Yeah. I like Actors. I don't know if you know Actors.
Yeah, we've had them on the channel, mate.
Yeah, I really like Actors. So what I'm saying is I just continue to be a fan like everyone that follows you. And I listen to your podcasts with people that I find great interest as well. And when you think David Brooks, not many people know who he is. You know what I mean? So I think this song that he had that was on his album that no one heard type thing, maybe a few thousand Gary Newman fans. I think that if I was working in a record company today, I'd be like introducing David Brooks to some 19-year-old girl and saying, look, what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? Grimes or something. They would all be working together. Clive Davis was the guy that I thought was the greatest A&R man ever. I don't know if you know Clive Davis. He put Santana back together again, and picks the songs and he did I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston, finding the song from Dolly Parton. I mean, genius type work the guy did, Yeah. So I sort of think that that's probably what I am without saying I'm Clive Davis. But if I was put into Warner Brothers and they gave me a corner office, and a couple of grand a week, I would possibly be able to make Dua Lipa, make some original music with some original people.
When an angel fell out the sky, right into my heart, and my pain was gone. I thought that I would never love again, but I was wrong.
But have you heard the new Taylor Swift album?
No.
If you go on YouTube, there are people saying, here's a drum fill, and here's the drum fill from Fleetwood Mac. Here's a bass line, and here's the bass line from... And they basically, every single song is a lift. Yeah. Every song is taken. So if you listen to my album, which most people in mainstream won't hear, it's all original. Yeah. It's just all original people. Oh. Here's the difference, though. 45 years after Fade to Grey, people are still listening to it and still love it.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, I DJ stupid parties and play Taylor Swift songs, and there are 20-year-old girls. She is their David Bowie. They know every single word. I'm not saying that there's no depth to Taylor Swift. I'm saying that the songwriting process behind the top artists today, music industry use a format of taking classic, they take Fade to Grey, they copy it, they detune it, they put it to a different, and then you're listening to something by Taylor Swift, you get fucking Fade to Grey, that is. Oh, that sounds like Starlight, Moonlight. That sounds like Michael Jackson, Blame It on the Boogie, and everything. I mean, when I first heard David Bowie singing one line from was it the Beatles? I read the news today. He just took one line out of someone else's song. Yeah, Young Americans, and he took one line and then I want my MTV. Don't stand so close to me. So there were people who every now and again would do that in someone else's song. But it wouldn't be like the whole bloody song.
Now he asks himself, did she ever find true love? Or was true love the reason she could let him go?
As I walk these streets alone, past your door, I see visions of you.
If you go through mine, Deep as Blue, which has an unknown sax player who was recommended to me by James from Waterboys, James Halliwell. He also did a really good version of Boy George. He loved the Boy George track we did. So he's done a really good reggae version of it, and I've got it in my folder of extra tracks. And James plays the Hammond organ. Well, anyway, there's a track on there called The Divide. And I've got a drum and bass mix of that, believe it or not. But here's a Hammond organ on that. So that's why they're all so long, because I kept going, I love it. You can't fade it out. I love it. And the same with The Deepest Blue. The sax was so good. I said, I hate it when I'm loving a track like Walk on the Wild Side and the sax, and then somebody fades it out. I'm like, no, to the sax, it's so good. So Deepest Blue, it does go on. That's my drums. It's just so simple, but it's that bass and drum, like Sade. When you listen to Sade, you really are listening to music. It's really beautiful. Best Friend, the sax is Andy Mackay. Well, you can't fade it out. You can't. So it's 9 minutes long, you know.
Legend of Roxy Music, yeah, you got to be on it.
And then talking of talking, a track called Romantique. It is Chris Payne's piano, and it was just this piano bit in another track. And I heard that piano, and I said, let's start again. And I took the piano and then built around that piano. And then, as you know, I'm a big film fan, always been a film soundtrack fan. So I said, well, let's just imagine that Romantique is a French movie and it's the opening titles. And you hear this piano. I was thinking, Sacha Distel on a television program in 1975, talking about the new movie Romantique, where he plays the lead part, you know, whatever. And you hear this beautiful music, and then there's talking. That's me. So every track developed musically, and I wrote a lot of words without music and then set them to music, as you do. Yo, I remember that. Yeah, that'll work. Let's try that. Let's try this. Who can I get to sing it? The artwork is Peter Ashworth. Original photos of me in my house in Kensington in the 80s. The back cover, believe it or not, is done. Derek Santini, he's a very good photographer, but he also happened to be my daughter's partner. So that was a photograph of me when I popped round to babysit. He goes, oh, let me take a photo. And then bang, I said, that's brilliant. I put that on my album cover. You know what I mean? So everything about me is just totally real, you know, the photograph and everything was just real and it all worked out. Most important thing here is that you guys know your music. And I have got affirmation from Electronic Cafe, you and your followers, that I've made a great album.
Yeah, you have, mate. 100%.
I'm bringing out a book And my co-writer said, but Midge's not going to talk to you again. I said, all I'm saying is that Steve Strange and Rusty Egan were cut out of Fade to Grey. I'm not saying I wrote it. It's like a girlfriend cheating on you when you're 18. It just breaks your heart. She doesn't know how much she hurt you. She has no idea. You never told her. You just moved on. You swallowed it. You got on with it. But really, I thought Midge and Rusty Egan, who had done 2 years in Rich Kids, who demoed The Dancer 50/50, who demoed in the year 2525 to see if we can make that sound, which we did, who I was funded by my DJing because we had no money. And Midge was all alone in London. He'd made the move to Rich Kids. It failed. He can't pay his rent. He got a job with Phil Lynott, which bought him a synth. You get what I mean? It's kind of like we had nothing. I went and joined Jobson. We hadn't released anything. We released actually Tar, written by Steve, Frequency 7, me and Dave Formula, trying to make some mad noise. Written, arranged and produced by Visage. That was the credit. We were all equal. That's what Visage was. We were named on the back of the record. We finished the Visage album. Midge was playing with Ultravox. Barry gone off to Nick Cave. John got stolen for Public Image, but he only plays on Blocks on Blocks. I wrote Blocks on Blocks in Berlin between Billy's and the Blitz. I genuinely thought that me and Midge were partners. Just like you two guys, best mates, partners, equal. And then you get the small print. Midge has no idea. Midge has no idea because Midge, if I say to anyone, Midge hadn't produced anyone and hadn't written anything. He hadn't even done Ultravox. How the hell was he suddenly the writer and the producer of, you know what I mean? We'd done Ronny together. So all I'm saying is when that book comes out, I doubt Midge will call me. He'll just go, who gives a fuck? I'm 70 fucking something years old now. I don't care.
So Rusty, on your book, are you doing an audio book?
They have asked me, but I don't like to talk much.
Oh,
yeah, the audio book will be a lot longer than the book. So my album, this album, as I said, there's no Midge and Billy. As a matter of fact, there's no producer. We had Martin Russian sitting in the studio, Midge, when we made Visage. Yeah. If we wanted a producer, we would have asked him. We made Visage. I suggested you join Ultravox, keep it going, play the guitar and sing, write some songs. I joined the Skids and did one of my greatest drummers ever, and Phil Lynott, theme tune to the Top of the Pops. I was a fucking good drummer. And that's all I've heard for 45 years. Steve Strange did the Blitz Club and Midge did Visage. And I'm supposed to sit back going, yeah, all right.
No,
but I love that. So I just think Romantique just shows that I'm not a drummer.
Just going back to the book. So, first of all, when's it coming out?
I think it's coming out in December,
right.
But I'm doing Heaven 17 tour in November.
I know, we know.
Yeah, and they're trying to get the first print run so that I might have some for sale on the tour. They, meaning the publishers. So I'm doing Louder Than Words in Manchester. Jobson's going to be there. He writes books. I'm doing Rough Trade in London, Denmark Street. And I'm doing the South East London book, something or other.
Nice.
So I'm going to show up and talk a lot. Basically, the book is my life story. Yeah. Kiddie stuff, family stuff, you know, the stuff that no one ever talks about, really. And when I wanted to go into all the great detail, I kept being pulled back. You can't, you know, you're not an encyclopedia. So I kind of said, can I make a list of about 20 or 30 books that if you're reading my book, you should refer to, you know? So if you're reading about craft work, I go, read Oud Sjoerd, you know, read Rudy Esch, you know, read their books. And then if I go, oh, read Dylan Jones, you know what I mean? So basically Bob Elms has got a book out, hasn't he, this week, you know? We Can Be Heroes book's out. I'm sure there's a Martin Kemp book out, but I don't know what it's about. So all I'm saying is I could have just repeated the same stuff, you know.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, and everybody would have known that. So it's a bit more like a personal journey, really.
Right.
And obviously I've had highs and lows and below the belt blows. So you guys loving the album and loving Blitz, the compilation, and loving Welcome to the Dance Floor, I would think my musical footprint, even my DJ sets, all the bands that I've discovered, all the people I've introduced to everyone. So you just join all the dots and Rusty's name is there somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
I think musically, I'm still a fan. I love being told by you and a few other platforms, Matt McKenzie, you know, playing stuff I've never heard, you know. I'm no encyclopedia. I get told by you and other people what's good, you know, and we don't always agree. So I think I've delivered quality music. Somebody sent me a film of them in their Tesla with my album on the screen. And it was like, I'd like to do that. I'd like to go for a drive, an hour and a half, and listen to my album in a Tesla with the best sound ever, you know? We've been on for a whole hour, is it? Nearly an hour. And you managed to ask how many questions, Mark?
Actually, we've done quite well.
Do you want to do your quick fire questions like you normally do?
Well, I mean, you know, just to kind of top and tail it a little bit. I mean, we was at the Design Museum, your new album, your weekend at the Karma Sanctum Hotel the other week, your book coming out. I mean, me and Andy like really proud of like that your name is kind of like back at front and center and achieving the stuff. The album has kind of endorsed. Yeah. You know, endorsed that you're rightly there. The music is fantastic. People are loving it. I mean, we're just like really chuffed for you. I mean, it's just like, it's so good to see you front and center.
As you know, I've been making this album forever and the book. And then when I got invited by Steve Dagger, manager of Spandau, to a meeting about the Design Museum Blitz, and they said the date, September. I thought, oh, that's my birthday. And then I thought, oh, that's like nearly a year away. You know, I can't wait that long to get my album out. I was a bit like that. Maybe I could put a single out. And then I thought, well, no, why don't you just plan it all, do it all properly? And of course, my book is not in the Design Museum. My album is not in the Design Museum. My T-shirt is not in the Design Museum. In a way, I'm not cashing in on anything. I'm just continuing to be me. And I don't know if you know, but I live frugally. I'm not rich. In my book, it might tell you that I made nothing. I literally made nothing. And whatever I did make, someone else took that. You know, so the book is below the belt blows. Lots of people have said, you know, oh, he's bitter or whatever. And I'm going, well, I've never said what I've said in my book in 45 years. So, in a way, if anyone is wondering about music, success, money, Rolls Royces, houses, rock star lives, I think the success for me is that you guys like it, that I've delivered, that I haven't annihilated Fade to Grey, done it so badly. I'm not cashing in with some cheap T-shirt somewhere. And I'm not on tour playing Butlins with 3 blokes that are 19 years old claiming to be Visage. I don't do anything. I don't do anything like that. And much to my own disdain, that other people are going, you could be rich. And I'm like, that I don't do anything. No, I don't do anything for money. I don't really. I mean, I'm available for DJ gigs. But even then, I was doing Rewind and people were tweeting, he plays music we don't know. And I'm like, you don't know Simple Minds. Can't believe it. So it was a bit too cheesy for me, you know. It's Raining Men. You know, hey, Mickey, you're so fine. I was like, I can't really go there. I can't, you know. I normally DJ a different set every night. And I thought, I don't really play much of my own music. And Heaven 17 have said, we just want you to play some music and then fuck off. And I wanted to do what I normally do, have the screen with all the album covers and everything, play Kraftwerk, play everything. And then I started to say, well, why don't you play some of your own music? You know? So I haven't compiled it yet. But if anyone's going to see Heaven 17 and you go, play Glorious, I go, oh, all right. Play When We Were Young. Oh, play Fade to Grey, but the Ronny version, or, you know what I mean? So in a way, I was going, yeah, maybe I'll do that. You know, I'll obviously play, you know, David Bowie and, you know, Depeche Mode or something. But I just thought, yeah, drop a few of your own in there, you know.
Thank you for your time. Amazing album, as Mark said. Book, can't wait to read the book. Yeah. And I'm just glad that you're getting the recognition, as Mark said, and I said, that you've always deserved since we've known you. And it's just great that your star's rising, and long may it continue, mate. And as you know, we're here to back you like you backed us on the first day. So, you know, you're a fantastic ambassador for us as well, and we're truly grateful.
Well, let me big you guys up. Well done for how long you been going? 2 years?
5.
Nearly 5 years, yeah.
See how time flies.
Yeah.
My God, 5 years. Do I look 5 years older?
No.
We were young men. We were young men then.
Hey?
We were young men when we started.
We were young. Andy had hair when I first came to my gigs.
That's true. Back in the early 80s, mate. I remember Flicks. I remember that very well that night.
Wow.
And
I can't believe I did all that stuff. And thank you both for your support. I really appreciate it. I'm now feeling a lot better that I think I've delivered a great album.
Really, yeah.
If it was 1984 then there would be a terrible review in the NME by Paul Morley. And Rusty Egan's delivered a self-centered, pampered, pompous album of drivel,
Well, the Electronic Cafe says otherwise.
See you in November.
Cheers, Rusty. See you, mate. Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Rusty.